the warmer side of that particular low pressure. And right now, it appears to me that the best chance of any snow is going to be in northern Michigan and in the Upper Peninsula. For us here in the Great Lakes Bay area and in southeastern Michigan, I think it's going to be more along the lines of rain, simply because it does look like our temperatures are going to be running fairly warm for this time of the year. 35, 36, 37, 38. The warmest day of the Tuesday and the Wednesday will be Tuesday. Wednesday will begin to cool down just a little bit, but will still be in the middle 30s. And our low on Tuesday night, which is critical, is going to be 35, 36 degrees. That's what it looks like right now. So, again, that's our temperature. The further north you get, the cooler it is going to be, and that's why I'm thinking they're going to get more in the way of snow. I know one fellow that I talked to a little bit earlier this morning was, okay, you're going to have shovelable snow, but that's going to be in northern Michigan and in the Upper Peninsula, and it'll be a heavier wet snow out of this thing too. So for us, we're not really looking at any sleet even. It just does appear to me that we're going to be talking pretty much just plain old rain. And there's a very good chance we could get a good half inch, if not more, in the way of liquid precipitation as we go through that period. But again, we're way out on this thing. The pathway has not been set in stone, so anything could change now. And obviously, we'll have a lot better read on it as we move into the day on Monday. But for right now, clouds continue to be thick. We will see slight thinning for a little bit later this afternoon, but then thicken right back up. 34 is going to be our projected high. So obviously, we're not going to be looking at picking up too many degrees here. Tonight, we'll drop down to 29. Still plenty of clouds, spotty snow showers around, but nothing of any measurable consequence. Sun will set this evening at 5:14. It'll rise tomorrow morning at 8:09. Now, tomorrow, we'll be looking once again at cloudy skies, spotty snow showers around, 35 for a high, 28 for a low tomorrow night. Low pressure over the Carolinas. Again, it is really moving in a northeasterly direction rapidly. And then another low pressure system that's going to be over northern Minnesota. During the day on Sunday, mostly cloudy skies, spotty snow. The best chance of that is going to be in the morning. 36 for a high on Sunday, 26 for a low on Sunday night. Low pressure system situated over northern Wisconsin is going to be affecting our weather later in the day on Sunday and Sunday evening. The other low off the East Coast will be off the coast of New Jersey, and they'll be moving into the New England states. There's a very good chance of not so much in Boston itself, but in areas to the west of Boston, where they could pick up as much as a foot of snow out of that particular system later in the day on Sunday and Sunday night, but not for us here. Mostly cloudy on Monday, low pressure system developing over Oklahoma, and it will be moving into the Tennessee Valley as we go through the day late on Monday and Monday night, and that's going to be the weather generator for us for Tuesday and Wednesday. That low will be moving a little bit slower than the one that's moving up the East Coast, and that's why it not only will be generating quite a bit of precipitation because it's going to be drafting some Gulf moisture, but it's also going to be drafting some warmer temperatures until it moves out and then moves east of us sometime during the day on Wednesday. So the best chance of seeing snow for us here in the Great Lakes Bay area, I think, is going to be Wednesday, more than likely Wednesday morning. But it'll be moving out as we move through the day on Wednesday. It's going to be a morning event. At least that's the way it appears right now. Average high for this time of the year is 30 in the afternoon, 18 at night. Record high in this state, 58, set back in 1997. The record low, 9 below zero, set in 1979. The coldest ever January the 5th was set back in 2018, not all that long ago. 7 was our high, and 7 below zero was our low. The warmest ever, 5th of January, was set back in 2007. Our high was 51 and our low was 45. And the most snow ever on this date set back in 2014, where we had a little bit better than 7 inches of snow in that 24-hour period. Long range to take us all the way through the 18th. We're going to begin to see our temperatures gravitate a lot closer to average and actually be a little bit below normal as we move into that weekend, not this weekend, but the following weekend, that weekend of right around the 17th, 18th, in there, 16th. Above average on the moisture, though, throughout the entire period, starting with Tuesday through the 18th. More on the weather as we go through the broadcast. Standing by, Matthew, who do we have?
Up next, we have Gary Kaufman from Star of the West and Doug Klein from Oppenheimer.
But before we get to them, we want to remind you the weather forecast brought to you by the folks at Nutrient Ag Solutions.
Nutrient Ag Solutions has the local expertise to recommend the corn, soybean, and other seed products that are the best fit for your field. Plus, unparalleled agronomic support with products and services to unlock yield potential and improve crop performance from planting to harvest. Ask about our financing options to help you get more from every acre and lead the field. Visit your local Nutrient Ag Solutions branch or go to nutrientagsolutions.com.
They say there's a secret to growing a great crop. At Nutrient Ag Solutions, they beg to differ. It all starts with a strong foundation, and when it comes to fertilizer, there's no question that Titan XE drives dry fertilizer performance. They've been unlocking the potential in every prill of dry fertilizer with biocatalyst technology for over a decade. Visit lpi.ag/Titan or contact your Nutrient Ag Solutions crop consultant to drive your crop's potential today. Just as a reminder, we had no quotes today from Baird and Company, but the folks at Baird want you to know that the Dow is currently up 41 at 37,481. The NASDAQ is up 67, 14,577, and the S&P is currently up 19 at 47,007. Joining us now, we have, is it Gary Kaufman, Matthew?
Yes, it is. How are you doing today, Mr. Gary?
Good morning. Good morning, gentlemen.
How you doing, Gary?
I'm doing good, Jerry. Yourself?
Well, we're just trying to keep afloat here with everything. I don't know.
Hey, we survived another year, and welcome to the new year here.
Yeah, and we're starting off with a real bang, at least the first few days. It's been kind of interesting. Do we have a report coming out shortly or within the next 7 days?
Yep. A week from today, Terry, we have on January 12th, Friday, we have our first small grains report that will give us a look at potential wheat planted acres, and that's a big report in the wheat arena. And then also we're going to look at update on production, not only in the U.S., but for South America. So there's a lot going on in this report in a week from today. So, with this week being relatively quiet, we may get some position squaring all next week going into that report. So it'll be interesting to see what those numbers will be. So,
yeah, the last time I looked, I did see that wheat was about the only thing that was positive today. But what are some of the factors that have affected us here in the first week?
Yeah, basically a lot of attention's been on the South America weather. That's been garnering a lot of attention. They've been seeing some beneficial rains down there, so that's been pretty negative for the soybean complex. And if we look at last Friday's close to where we're at here at the noon hour today, we're down about 37 cents for the week. But overall, I mean, we've been taking a lot of weather premium out of this bean market for the last probably 30 to 45 days. It's just been not good. So, but for the week, corn's down about 8, and actually wheat's down 11 yet, even though the last couple of days, we've been on the positive side. But early in the week, we had a big chunk taken out of the wheat arena. But in the wheat, some of the support is, coming from the Black Sea. There's some cold weather moving in over there, and they're worried about some winter kill. Earlier in the week, we've had some beneficial rains in the plains on the hard red winter wheat. So that was kind of a negative on the wheat arena. And corn, for the most part, is just basically demand. We continue to struggle with corn demand for exports. And again, we had a report this morning where export sales were below the range on corn. So all those, demand's going to drive the market, weather's going to drive the market, moving forward. But this USDA report next Friday is basically a key factor that the market's looking forward to. So
Is wheat in dormancy right now here?
well, it's a good question, Terry, depending who you talk to, but it doesn't seem like it is. I mean, you look out there, I mean, we talked about it before, some of this late planet wheat actually came up pretty decent and it's pretty green out there yet. So, yeah, I'm not an agronomist by any means, but, I don't know how many days of below freezing temperatures we need to put it into dormancy. Some of our key folks at Richfield maybe be able to answer that question if we want to get some technical details on what is the definition of wheat being dormancy and when is that, how does that happen? So
I guess I'm really curious because it doesn't look like we're going to be into a cold spell here anytime soon. And maybe, just maybe, we're going to get some snow, some ground cover. I would think. I mean, we're getting pretty close here. We're going to get a number of systems come through, but I'm not looking at any nighttime temperatures dropping down in the teens yet in the foreseeable future. So we might get some cover on that wheat before it actually gets cold. And I don't know. I think you're right. There's a little green showing out there right now.
yeah, and before that cold temperature comes, it's always nice to have a little blanket on it for sure. That'll go a long way. So.
Well, it sure is. So on the board right now, what do you have, Gary?
Yeah, right now, Terry, we got cash wheat up 577 on the white, 492 on the red. New crop also up 3 at 630 on the white, 550 on the red. Cash corn is down 4 at 378. New crop also down 4 at 430. Cash soybeans down 7 at 1171, and new crop down 9, Terry, at 1132.
You have a great weekend. We'll talk to you next week, okay?
I will. You do the same. Thanks, Terry.
You bet. Gary Kaufman over at Star of the West. Over we go to Oppenheimer right now. Doug Klein joining us. The market report brought to you by Schaefer and Beerline. Yeah, the new Ram trucks, they've got them. The 2023 heavy duties. They've got the 2024 1500s. So if you're in the market for a new Ram 1500, a Ram heavy duty pickup, a ProMaster van, or a Ram commercial truck, and you want to buy with confidence from a business-linked dealer that knows what customer satisfaction truly is, well, it is time to go to Schaefer and Beerline in Frankenmuth, where family and service sells cars. And the market report brought to you by Thumb Bank, serving the needs of agriculture for well over 125 years. And now they've got 13 locations throughout the Thumb and the Great Lakes Bay region. Thumb Bank, where relationships are built on trust. Doug Klein, good morning.
Good morning.
What are we looking at now?
Well, so you got a jobs report that came out hot, more jobs than expected. So interest rates initially were up 408 on the 10-year. That was putting pressure on the stock market early on, but by the time they actually opened the market, it came positive, and so it turned positive and is kind of fading now, but still got a half a day to go, so we don't know where she goes from here. They got crude oil going up just a little bit, $1.75 or so. You had to expect that. Saudis weren't going to sit back and let their baby go down much more than it did. So,
well, no, they got to pay
sure
for those Christmas presents, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Dreamt up some reason to run the crude oil prices up, whatever. I think we're on to them, but I don't think they care. So that is what it is. All right. So anyway, here's your numbers. The March corn is 462 3/4. That's down 3 3/4. July corn 485 1/4, down 3 1/2. March soybeans 1261, down 6 1/2. The July soybeans 1274 3/4, down 8 1/4. The March wheat 616 1/4, up 2 3/4. And July wheat is 634 1/4, up 2 1/4. Crude oil is 73.93, up $1.74. Heating oil is $2.60, up 1.1 cents. Gasoline is $2.12.11, up 1.1 cents. Natural gas $2.52 is down 3.8 cents. Over to currencies, Canadian dollar, U.S. dollar buys $1.3335 Canadian. That's down 12 ticks. The dollar buys 144.38 yen. That's down 24 ticks. Euros at 109.62, up 15 ticks. Dollars at 102.19, down 23 ticks. Gold is at $2,058.80, up $8.80. Silver's $23.50, up 31 cents. Platinum's at $965.70, up $12.
Have a nice weekend.
Thank you. You too.
Get those snow skis waxed up, okay?
I'm ready, baby.
Fuel them up. We
Yep.
might have to wait a few days, and you might have to
Well.
travel a little bit further north, but
I'm ready.
we should have a shot at it. Take care, Doug.
All right.
Doug Klein over at Oppenheimer. When we return, Matthew, who do we have?
Up next, we have Chuck Cervinski from Maple Hill.
But before we do that, first this.
The versatile Kubota B-Series is a do-it-all tractor. Run powerful attachments that can be easily switched out. It features a hydrostatic transmission and is simple to maintain. The Kubota B-Series. It makes the hard work look easy. Talk to your local Kubota dealer today to schedule a demo. Built upon a solid foundation of cast iron and steel, the Kubota L-Series is part of our under 100 horsepower tractor lineup rated #1 for reliability. They feature powerful Kubota diesel engines and easy operation. The durable Kubota L-Series. Talk to your local Kubota dealer today to schedule a demo. Go to KubotaUSA.com for full disclaimer.
See Kim Weiss at Lingle Equipment, 3001 Sawyer Drive along I-75 at the M81 Carroll exit just south of the Zilwaukee Bridge, Saginaw. Call Kim today at 989-754-7801 or email at k.weiss@lingle1.com.
Farm Service brought to you today by the folks at Freeland Bean and Grain. They're ready to help you, Mr. Farmer, to get some things all lined up for 2024. Before you know it, we are going to be there. And maybe, just maybe, you might want to tie up a few loose ends. Vic Huffer is there. He can take care of whatever you need when it comes to advice of crop. He's a certified crop advisor. And, of course, they have the Dairyland seeds, and they have the fertilizers and trace elements that you need to get off to a profitable start. Freeland Bean and Grain, they've been serving you since 1983. We're serving you is their business. We say good morning to Chuck Cervinski at Maple Hill Nursery. And Chuck, we continue with this stretch of snowless weather.
I know. And it's been really mild. And the question we've gotten a lot the last couple of weeks, can you do a little pruning in the yard right now? And the answer is yes, you can. Perfect time to do some of that rejuvenation pruning on trees and shrubs that might have gotten out of control last season. Pruning in the winter is going to cause a lot less stress on trees and shrubs, is they're dormant now, and the pruning is not going to stimulate the growth like it does in the warm months. You might want to refrain from pruning things like dogwoods, crab apples, magnolia, maybe redbud trees as they flower in the spring. Pruning those now is going to remove those pretty flower buds that we enjoy in the spring. But if you're not concerned with the flowers, then go ahead and do these well as now.
Yeah, and that holds true for the flowering shrubs too, right?
Exactly. If you've got a big lilac that's out of hand, and you want to take it down 3 or 4 feet, you don't care whether it flowers, go ahead and do it now.
Yeah. You haven't trimmed any skin off your fingers yet, but from what I understand, you've been putting some furniture together here.
Yeah, lots of spring merchandise is starting to arrive at the store weekly now, even though it's January. End of next week, we're halfway through the month, and with patio season, that furniture season, that starts up. So
and it might
we got to get ready.
Yeah, it might be a really good idea, especially if you've got some special things on your mind that you want to have. Selection has got to be great, or when the stuff is coming in that they would want.
Yeah, we've got a great selection right now. The store is full, but now is the time to order. You don't want to wait until April, because the way it's looking, if we get started early, then orders are going to ramp up a lot earlier than what we're used to seeing.
So now, if somebody does want to buy the merchandise, you can store it for them?
Definitely. If you wanted to buy something right now, you don't have the room, we've got the warehouse. We can store stuff out there. We've got quite a few folks that are doing that now.
Fantastic. Chuck Cervinski, have a great weekend, okay?
You too.
Will do. Chuck Cervinsky, Maple Hill Nursery over in Midland. We'll be right back.
Well, even though California's Proposition 12 just took effect on Monday, it was already having a negative impact on the pork industry even before the new year began.
What we see with California now that it's been enacted is higher meat prices in California.
And that's Scott Hayes, the president of the National Pork Producers Council. He says the new law has not only raised the price of pork in California, but it's also created a shortage of pork supplies there.
Prices in August were up as much as 27% in California on the cuts that are affected by Prop 12, while the rest of the country's seen about a 2% decrease in price. And there's also a little bit of issue with availability of product.
He says that Proposition 12 is not what it was marketed to be.
They tout it as a higher standard for animal welfare. It is not. It is just simply a different standard that causes farmers to have to change the way they raise pigs, make a sizable capital investment to make that change, which is not better necessarily for the pigs. Farmers, the veterinarians, they know how to take care of pigs, not the activists in California.
Since the U.S. Supreme Court's decision last May to uphold California's Proposition 12, those within the pork industry have been pushing lawmakers in D.C. to pass a bill to override Prop 12 and prevent a state like California from dictating how industries in other states must be regulated.
Keep in mind, the Supreme Court agreed that this is a problem, and it's a real problem. They just didn't think it was their problem. So we still have hope that we can get Congress to see this as a real problem and get it fixed. As far as a watch out for other industries, I think certainly this opens up the door for about anything. Any state says we don't like the way another state's doing something, they have the right to regulate it now.
That's about Proposition 12. Very interesting, the ramifications of that out in California. Let's talk real quickly here with Stephanie Zelenko with AgroLiquid. And Stephanie, a little bit earlier, we were talking about how warm it has been so far this winter. And actually, some of our wheat doesn't appear as though it's gone into winter mode yet.
No, actually, I've seen some wheat that didn't look like it existed, and with that warm weather we had around Christmas actually start to come up and green up. So we are getting a little bit of active growth even with these cooler temperatures.
Yeah. Now, what temperatures do we need to put wheat into dormancy?
So it needs to be those cooler temperatures, and it's more the length of time for that vernalization process at those cooler temperatures. And we have plenty of winter left before. If you think we grow wheat across the U.S. And down in Oklahoma and Texas, they don't get the super cold like we do. So it doesn't need to be freezing temperatures. We just have to have a period of cool time in order to induce dormancy.
Very interesting. Thanks for the information. Really appreciate it. You take care. We'll talk to you again next week. All right? Stephanie Zelenko with AgroLiquid. We'll be back at 12:30 with an update, so you stick around for that. Now we conclude our program with the playing of our national anthem.
From the Premier Kitchen and Bath Gallery Studios, WSGW, Saginaw, Bay City, Midland. WSGW FM, Carlton.
Sponsored by Staples.
I'm Steve Kathan. Parts of the Northeast are bracing for the first significant snowfall in 2 years.
If we get a good storm, definitely. People will call.
And that snowplow driver in Worcester, Massachusetts is expecting a good storm.